The moment you tell someone you've saved $100,000, $200,000, whatever your number is, something changes permanently. Not emotionally, not symbolically, mechanically. You just reset the price of every interaction you'll have with that person. What's normal to spend changes. What's fair changes. Who's expected to pick up the check changes. And here's the part that actually costs you money. The bigger the number you reveal, the more expensive that sentence becomes. Not because people will steal from you, because you will start behaving differently. Your spending changes, your decisions change, your identity changes, and it happens so quietly that most people don't notice anything is wrong until 10 years later, when they look at their portfolio and think, I was doing everything right, so where did the compounding go? This is what we're breaking down. Not saving, not investing, financial visibility. Why staying quiet about your money is not a personality trait, it's a strategy. And to be clear, this is not about hiding money from your spouse, lying to your accountant, or being paranoid about people. That's not what this is. This is about something much more real. Predictable behavior changes that happen the moment your financial position becomes visible, backed by psychology, backed by real-world patterns, and costing people hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. Now hold one image in your head, because this explains everything better than any spreadsheet ever will. Think of a submarine. A submarine is strongest when nobody knows where it is. It operates quietly, moves freely, no pressure, no expectations. But the moment it surfaces, the moment it shows up on radar, it becomes a target. Everything changes instantly. Your money works the same way. Your wealth grows best when nobody is tracking it. Nobody is adjusting behavior around it. Nobody is expecting anything from it. The moment people can see your number, you lose freedom. Not all at once, but slowly, consistently, expensively. And this isn't theory. Let's start with something real. According to Charles Schwab, 61% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Most people hear that and think, okay, income problem. But here's where it gets interesting. According to Lending Club, about 36% of people earning over $100,000 a year still live paycheck to paycheck. Think about that. Six-figure income and still no margin. This is where people say lifestyle creep, but that word is misleading. Creep sounds slow, subtle, barely noticeable. That's not what's happening. What's actually happening is a ratchet, and ratchets only move in one direction. You upgrade something visible. Better car, nicer apartment, more expensive restaurant. Click new standard set. And here's the problem. You can move up easily, but moving down, that's uncomfortable, awkward, socially expensive, because now people have seen it. That dinner where you covered the table, that trip you posted, that lifestyle people noticed. Each one sends a signal. This is who I am now. And once that signal is out, it turns into a social contract, not written, not spoken, but enforced. You've created a floor, not a financial floor, a social floor. And here's the dangerous part. That floor is not controlled by your budget. It's controlled by the people who saw you set it. You won't feel it immediately, but the moment you try to step down, you'll feel resistance, questions, reactions, subtle pressure. So what do most people do? They don't step down, they maintain. And that maintenance is where the money starts leaking. Let's make this real. There's a guy, call him Derek, mid-level software engineer, makes around $130,000 to $150,000. He does everything right. Maxes out his 401k, builds an emergency fund, invests consistently. He's on track perfectly. Then one night at a normal dinner, after a couple drinks, he says one sentence. I just crossed $100,000 invested. That's it. No flex, no showing off, just sharing. And that one sentence starts costing him money. Not instantly, but predictably. Over the next couple years, dinners get slightly more expensive. Derek picks up the check more often. He stops pushing back because now he's the guy who's doing well. His girlfriend starts talking about upgrading apartments, not demanding, just assuming. When his parents need help, they call him first. And Derek, he doesn't push back, not because he's irresponsible, because saying no now feels wrong. 3 years later, strong income, consistent investing, solid market. And yet, his net worth barely moved. No one stole from him. Nothing dramatic happened. But his identity started charging him a monthly fee. That's the real cost, not requests, expectations. And here's the deeper problem. You think people will ask you for money. That's not the main issue. The real issue is you will start giving even when nobody asks. Once people know you have money, the pressure doesn't just come from them. It starts coming from you. There's a concept from Richard Thaler called mental accounting. Simple idea. We don't treat money like math. We treat it like category. Rent money, fun money, emergency money. But there's another category almost nobody talks about. The cost of being who I said I am. You won't see it in your bank app. You won't track it, but it shows up in your behavior. Because the moment you say, I'm doing well, I invest, I've built something, your brain locks in a new identity. And now, without thinking about it, you start protecting that identity. This leads to something called identity consistent spending. You don't say it out loud, but your brain starts asking, does this match my level? Will this look cheap? Is this who I am now? And suddenly, ordering the cheaper option feels off. Saying I can't afford it feels fake. Skipping plans feels like a downgrade. No one forced you. No one even asked, but you spend anyway. And this is where it gets dangerous. Even when you're alone, you're still performing. Now let's put real numbers on this. You're 35. You've got around $200,000 saved across accounts. You're not flashy, but people People know you're doing well. Now assume something small. You spend an extra $400 a month, not on luxury, on things like covering the table, nicer hotels, on group trips, not arguing over splits, helping when it feels right. $400 doesn't feel like a big deal, but over 30 years, at a 7% return, that's about $580,000 gone. Not from bad investing, not from a crash, from maintaining an identity. And that number is conservative. In cities like New York, San Francisco, Austin, that number isn't $400, it's $800, $1,000, sometimes more. And compounding doesn't care why you spent it, only that you did. Now it gets even deeper, because there's a second force working against you. It's called the Diderot effect, named after Denis Diderot. Here's what happened. Diderot spent most of his life broke. Then one day, he gets a financial windfall. First thing he buys, a luxury robe. And then something strange happened. The robe looks too good. Everything else looks cheap. So he upgrades, new desk, new furniture, new decor. Within a year, he's broke again. Not because he was reckless, because the first upgrade made everything else feel out of place. That's the Diderot effect. One visible upgrade creates a chain reaction. You buy a better car. Now your clothes don't match. You upgrade your apartment. Now your lifestyle has to match it. You start eating at nicer places. Now normal places feel wrong. It's not about price. It's about consistency. There was a study in the Journal of Consumer Psychology. After one visible luxury purchase, people were 47% more likely to make another within 30 days. Not because they had more money, because their identity shifted. And once identity shifts, spending follows. This is how the ratchet tightens. Every upgrade sets a new baseline, creates new mismatches, forces more spending. And here's the worst part. It rarely reverses, because going backward feels like losing status, explaining yourself, admitting something changed, so people don't go back. They maintain. And maintenance is where compounding dies. Now, let's bring this into real life. Marcus, mid-40s, disciplined, quiet, maxes his retirement accounts, drives a normal car, bought a house below his means. By his mid-40s, around $450,000 invested. And here's the key. Almost nobody knows. Friends think he's doing fine. Family thinks he's responsible. No one has a number. His submarine is deep, silent, safe. Then something happens. His father passes away. And during estate settlement, financial details get revealed. Now his siblings know Marcus has real money. He didn't choose this. But now the number is out. And watch what happens. One sibling hits a rough patch. The request doesn't come directly. It moves through the family. Marcus helps. Then a relative reaches out, calls it a business idea, but it's clearly a funding request. Marcus listens, feels pressure. Then his mom starts assuming, you'll handle this, not asking, assuming, which is harder to refuse. Within 18 months, Marcus gives away around $65,000, some willingly, some not really. Now run the math. $65,000 invested for 20 years at 7%, about $250,000. Gone. Not from stupidity, not from bad decisions, from visibility. And this is the shift you need to understand. People think the risk is others will ask you for money. That's not the real problem. The real problem is people start adjusting expectations around you, and expectations don't need permission. They just exist. And once they exist, saying no has a cost, not financial, social. And most people will pay money to avoid social friction every time. That's how wealth leaks, not in big mistakes, in small, repeated, invisible decisions. And once your identity locks in, your brain helps enforce it, which means even if nobody asks you for anything again, you'll still spend more. Because now you're not just managing money, you're maintaining an image. Before we go further, quick question. What's your number right now and how many people know it? Drop it in the comments as private or people know, because that one difference is going to decide how expensive your future becomes. Now let's get to the part most people completely miss. People think money gives you freedom. That's true, but it's vague. Here's what money actually gives you. Leverage. In any situation, job, relationship, business, even a dinner table. The person with the most options and the least visible need has the power. Now think about what happens the moment your finances become visible. People know your level. They know what you can afford. They know what I can't afford that sounds like coming from you. It sounds fake. And when it sounds fake, you stop saying it. You say yes instead. Yes costs money. No costs credibility. And once your credibility is tied to your spending, you've lost leverage. Let me show you this clearly. Two people, same age, 35, same profession, engineers, same city, almost same income. Kevin earns $115,000, has approximately $180,000 saved. People know he's good with money. James earns $110,000, has approximately $170,000 saved. Nobody knows anything. On paper, Kevin is ahead, but over the next 15 years, something invisible happens. Kevin spends extra approximately $500 per month identity-driven decisions, Social expectations, occasional family support. Total cost over 15 years, approximately $237,000 lost. Spending plus compounding. James spends maybe $60 to $80 extra only on things he actually values, no identity pressure. At age 50, Kevin approximately $800,000, James approximately $1.1 million. Same career, same discipline, $300,000 difference. Not from investing better, not from earning more, from staying invisible. Now here's the part that actually matters. At 50, James gets an opportunity. Startup role, half the salary, high upside, work he actually cares about. Kevin can't take it. Why? Because Kevin has a lifestyle floor, not written anywhere, but real. People expect a certain standard. His spending is locked in, his identity depends on it. He needs his income. James runs the numbers privately. No pressure, no expectations, no one watching. And he says yes. That's what financial silence buys you. Not saving more, not spending less. The ability to choose, to say yes when it matters, to say no when it doesn't, on your terms. Now here are the only 3 things that actually matter from this entire video. 1. Audit your visibility, not your spending, your visibility. Ask yourself, what have I told people? What does my lifestyle signal? What number would others guess I have? If people have a rough idea, you've surfaced. You can't undo it, but you can stop adding new signals. No more updates, no more unnecessary upgrades. Let the submarine go back down. 2. Stop tying milestones to identity. You hit $100,000, then $250,000, then $500,000. The instinct is, I should tell someone. Don't, because the moment you share it, it stops being just your milestone. It becomes someone else's expectation. Celebrate privately, write it down, tell your partner, but don't turn it into a public identity, because identity is expensive. 3. Build an invisible floor. This is different from an emergency fund. This is a number only you know, a reserve that gives you confidence in any situation. Social pressure, family requests, unexpected opportunities, the kind of confidence where you could pay for everything at the table, but you don't need to prove it. That's not being cheap. That's control. That's power. Now, one last thing. Every system around you is designed to do the opposite. Credit cards, reward, visible spending. Luxury brands sell status. Social media pushes you to show everything. These are not neutral systems. They make money when you become visible, upgrade, publicly signal your status, because visibility creates pressure. Pressure creates spending. Spending creates profit. So when staying quiet feels uncomfortable, a little awkward, a little unnatural, that's not a signal you're wrong. That's a signal you're doing it right. There's a concept in naval engineering, acoustic signature. It's the noise a submarine makes. The louder it is, the easier it is to detect. Modern submarines are built for one thing, silence, because silence equals survival. Silence equals advantage. Your financial life works the same way. It's not just about how much money you have. It's about how much of it you reveal, because in a world where everyone is broadcasting everything, the quiet one wins.